All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone who still rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect out there, scattered wherever you may be. May Bahashem Yahshai bless you and your household, and may you continue to endure in these last days. Also, shalom to you sincere believers who do believe in the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. May Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai bless you and your household, and may you continue to endure as well. All right, it is your brother Debakia from the Sons of Yasharallah, GMS Colorado Springs, coming to you again with another live lesson. And this time I'm on the highways and byways. All right, all praise to the Most High for that. My phone got fixed and now I can record lengthy videos, so why not get into it? All right. Let's get it. We're going to flow in the spirit. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 3, actually chapter 4, beginning with verse 1. The context of this chapter is sincerity, okay? What does sincerity mean? Being humble, all right? Being shamefaced, okay? Not being cocky or prideful, nothing along those lines. But taking heed to yourself and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, and also taking rebuke when it comes down on you. We do know that the book of 2 Corinthians was written by the Apostle Paul in the town of Corinth. All right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, all right, that refers to the great covenant of grace made possible by Yahweh Shai. What is this ministry? Teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that they are indeed the Israelites of the Bible, all right, and abiding by 100% truth, beginning with our elders and apostles. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not, all right? When you're in this thing sincerely and with sincerity, the Spirit should power you up to go out and teach these scriptures and its truth. All right, you got a lot of couch potato Israelites who don't do anything, who just sleep all day, all right, stay on the internet and scoff, okay? Yahweh Shem Shai is looking for men to come out and teach his people. Mind you, Yahweh Shai said, if you love me, feed my sheep. As we have received this mercy, we faint not. All right, it's right here. We will not fail to preach the gospel of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach and him crucified. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 2. But have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty. All right, not walking in craftiness. Okay, walking with pride, cockiness, arrogance. Those things are against this word. All right. Once again, it's important to maintain humility. All right, so we can be a part of that hopeful elect. Not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of power deceitfully. And who's handling the word of power deceitfully right now? All right, several Israelite camps, starting with ISUPK. All right, teaching that the mark of the beast is sleeping with white women. That's off. All right, IUIC, Bishop Nathaniel on the fence about what the MOTB is. All right, we know through the Spirit that the MOTB is the RFID micro C-hip. Okay, and your government is passing mass legislation to put this in order as we speak. All right, but you people don't read. You're addicted to social media, what, TikTok and etc. All right, just false things. Continuing on. Not handling the word of power deceitfully, right? That refers to using it for one's own purpose and agenda. You got brothers who come in this thing and set up a GoFundMe, okay, to break down lessons for the sheep. That's off, all right? Freely ye received, freely ye give. That's how we're supposed to be moving. Right? Nor handling the word of power deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth. All right, this is the truth. All right, we know now that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans descend from the 12 tribes of Israel. And that's all through prophecy, beginning with our elders, okay? Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, is in denial because we woke up to this truth. Commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of power. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them who are lost. All right? If you can't receive this, it's because you're lost and it's hidden from you. All right? We have to often remind ourselves this is a gift from on high. We didn't choose to bring ourselves into the truth. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai brought us into this truth. And since we have this truth, what do? We stand boldly in the names of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai as commanded. All right? But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them who are lost, which includes you 2/3. All right? Who don't want to come in, who don't want to repent, who still want to be law, commandment breakers by eating swine, right? Committing adultery, sleeping with another man's wife, all right? Worshiping JC, all type of wickedness. You're lost if you're in that mindset. Continuing on. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 4. In whom the God of this world, and who's the God of this world? Satan, all right? Spiritual demon Satan is the God of this world, not the God of the Bible. Okay? We have a term out there where we often say, what does GOD stand for? Because it's an acronym. What? Guns, oils, and drugs. That's the white man's God. Guns, oils, and drugs. All right? Planning mass drugs in what? Jake and you so-called blacks neighborhoods. But during the 80s, okay, via Ronald Reagan. All right? Pushing that whole crack agenda. And it's beautiful to see that revert back on our enemies. Okay, now what do you see on the highways and byways these days? All right? Cracked out Edomites. Okay? It says surely power is not mocked. And now you Edomites are being mocked. Continuing on. In whom the power of this world, which is Satan, right? The spiritual demon Satan and his off seed, which is Esau, has blinded the minds of them which believe not. So if you don't believe in the sincere names of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you're blinded, okay, by the angels, all right? And unless you repent, you're going to be destroyed on this side. In whom the power of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of power, should shine unto them. Once again, you can't wake yourself up. Yahweh Hashem Shai has to do that, right? So don't take this gift for granted. Continuing on. Should shine unto them. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 5. For we preach not ourselves, all right? We don't use our own philosophies, but Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, the Lord, and ourselves, your servants, for Yahweh Shai's sake. All right, I'm out here right now for Yahweh Shai's sake, because I want a reward at the end of the day. I want to be crowned, all right, by the Messiah, by the only begotten Son. What does that mean? That means that I have to put in work. I've got to teach this gospel, all right, to the best of my ability. We got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and take heed to sound doctrine. All right, got all type of philosophies out there, whether it be chematology, Hinduism, Buddhism, you name it. Well, these crazy religions, you're gonna find a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American involved in that, right? Which is spiritual fornication, because don't forget, in the book of Jeremiah, Yahweh says he is married unto us, all right? For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, the Lord, and ourselves, your servants, for Yahweh Shai's sake. All right? That's actually a precept. Let's go get it. This is the book of, we're going to go to the book of Matthew. Chapter 20. Let me see if I got it. All right. Matthew chapter 20. Let me see. Salakia. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 25. Okay. All right. This is a heavy chapter. All right. This is the book of Matthew chapter 20, and we'll begin at verse 16. All right. These words are in red, so that is Yahweh Shai speaking. And it reads, verse 16. So the last will be first, and the first last. Okay? And who's the last in his kingdom? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're last. Who's first? Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man in the heathen nations. All right? But when the kingdom of heaven comes here on earth, we will be first, beginning with Yahweh Shai and the elect. All right? We will have the first fruits of the kingdom. All right? And things will be restored. This earth will be restored. There won't be any more GMOs in our food. All right? High fructose corn syrup in all of our drinks. Okay? Women sitting out here going against men, saying they ain't shit, constantly talking shit, and just having their way. That's not going to be allowed in the kingdom. In fact, we're going to beat the law, statutes, and commandments into you. Thus saith the Bible. Verse 16 again. So the last will be first, and the first last. All right? For many are called, but few chosen. All right? You got 1 million Israelites waking up right now as we speak. Okay, but what does that mean if they're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, and they're not calling on the true names? All right? You just woke up. You're just a nigga with fringes. But if you don't change your whole state of mind, okay, you will be destroyed. But if you do change your whole state of mind, all right, you have life. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 17. Now Yahweh Shai, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples aside on the road and said to them, verse 18, Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be betrayed to the chief priests and to the scribes, and they will condemn him to death. All right, Yahweh Shai knew and had a vision about his own death, right? Verse 19, and deliver him to the Gentiles, to mock and scourge, and to crucify. And the third day he will rise again. All right, and we know that the Gentiles in the New Testament are indeed Israelites. Okay, they were Israelites who didn't know they were Israelites. They were keeping heathen customs. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 20. Then the mother of Zebedee's sons came to him with her sons, kneeling down and asking something from him. Verse 21. And he said to her, What do you wish? She said to him, Grant these 2 sons of mine may sit, one on your right hand and the other on your left in your kingdom. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 20. This is how Yahweh Shai responded. But Yahweh Shai answered and said, You do not know what you ask. Are you able to drink the cup that I am about to drink? And be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? All right, the answer is no. They said to him, We are able. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 23. So he said to them, You will indeed drink my cup and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it is for those whom it is prepared by my Father. Going into the elect. All right, this truth is for the elect. It's not for the whole house of Israel right now. All right, the elect. Beginning with you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is what we come out here for. We come out here to fish for the elect. All right, we're in fishing season right now. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 24. And when the 10 heard it, they were greatly displeased with the two brothers. But Yahushua called to him. But Yahushua called to him. Hold on, we got to be here. Continuing on. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 25.